Our next speaker, a longtime broadcaster, formed Jumbo Sports Network, and has been active in televising college and high school games over a period of decades now. He starred in baseball at Holy Savior Renard, pitched at LSU, where he was part of the national championship team in 1993. He went on to pitch professionally the San Diego Padres and Milwaukee Brewers organizations, and is now the president and CEO of the Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame in Natchitoches. Please give a very warm, Ready to Lawn Sports Foundation Quarterback Club welcome to Ronnie Rantz. Ronnie?
Thank you, sir. Thanks for everybody being here today. And this is my first time here at the new Rockin' Bowl, and I've known the Blanchards a long time, so I've had many a cerveza here and enjoy lunch as well. I'm here kind of representing the Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame, and I see Coach Baggs over there, you know, LSU. My nighttime job on the weekend is covering LSU with Cox Sports Television. I do the post-game show from the locker room and interview Coach O and the players and all that after the game. Looking forward to being in Starkville this Saturday for sure. I know Coach will talk more about it, but this is going to be one of those main big games where we're going to really find out a lot about LSU and Mississippi State for that matter after this Saturday. Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame, for those that don't know, is located up in Natchitoches, Louisiana. It's a $23 million museum, beautiful museum that the Trahan Architect Group won all kind of international awards for back in 2013 when the actual building opened. The Hall of Fame itself has been at Northwestern State since the early 70s, and it's this past summer, which each and every summer, the last weekend in June, we induct Hall of Famers across the state of Louisiana. This past class was amazing. We had David Toms, a golfer. We had Ed Reed, you know, football player from Destrehan High. We had Dee Bro, gymnastics coach at LSU. Calvin Burrell, a jockey, three-time Kentucky Derby winner. We had Eddie Kinnison, who of course was an All-American in track and football at LSU, went on to play in the NFL a long time. Many others. One of the people that got inducted from a journalist award standpoint, wasn't able to attend because of a prior commitment with his family out of the country over a year prior, was Jim Henderson. And we look forward to actually presenting Jim his Hall of Fame plaque, probably Ken, in October. We'll get with you and coordinate, and we'll let the public know. We'll probably get Bobby and Abear and some folks to come over here that same day and speak and give Jim Henderson his award. Of course, a longtime voice of the Saints. He got inducted into the Hall of Fame as a Journalist Award winner this past summer. But last week, or actually last Wednesday, we released our 2018 Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame class. And again, it's the last weekend in June is when we have the induction ceremony up in Natchitoches. It's a fantastic event. It'll be covered this year live by Cox Sports Television. We have a festivity of events all weekend long, concerts, fireworks on the river, golf tournament, you name it. It's a fantastic event. So if you're free, please come on up and join us up in Natchitoches the last weekend in June. We'll have hundreds and hundreds of people up there celebrating. This is a very diverse class. Last year, the class had probably more top-end star power, names you know, but this class was very diverse from a standpoint of a lot of different sports. There were 130 people nominated, 26 different sports represented. 35 members of Louisiana Sports Writers Association met in Crowley to vote on this year's class, and went through 6 different rounds of voting to come out with the class. A couple of names with LSU ties. Russ Springer, longtime Major League pitcher. He pitched at LSU in the late 80s, spent 18 years in the big leagues. There's only been 75 players in the history of Major League Baseball that have pitched in more games than Russ Springer, and over a 150-year history of Major League Baseball, so that's impressive. He's from Grant, Louisiana. Russ Springer, well-deserved. He'll be going into the Hall of Fame this year. Another LSU tie and a USL tie from the Raging Cajun days. The winningest tennis coach in the history of either of those programs, Jerry Simmons, is going to be going into the Hall of Fame. He was at LSU, and then before that he was with the Raging Cajuns, and so he is quite a personality. Old Jerry's going to be going in to the Hall of Fame. Louis Cook, one of the greatest high school football coaches in our time. He's been in 11 state championship games, has won I think 4 of them. He coached in college in 2 different stints. Of course, most recently known for being a head coach at Notre Dame of Crowley. He's still the head coach at Notre Dame of Crowley. And he was offense coordinator at USL when a guy by the name of Jake Delhomme was the quarterback. So Louis Cook is going to be going into the Hall of Fame this year. The guy who Jake Delhomme was throwing the footballs to for the Raging Cajuns in the mid-90s was a guy by the name of Brandon Stokely. His dad, Nelson Stokely, of course, was the head coach for the Raging Cajuns. Well, Brandon went on to play 15 years in the NFL, won a couple Super Bowls, one with the Ravens, one with the Colts, when Peyton Manning was throwing some passes over there in Indianapolis and then later in Denver. Brandon Stokely got elected into the Hall of Fame. So a lot of Raging Cajuns there with Jerry Simmons, Brandon Stokely, and Louis Cook going in. Reggie Wayne, who's from New Orleans, went to John Ehret High School. First year on the ballot, he was an unanimous selection. Reggie Wayne, who of course played at John Ehret, went on to the University of Miami, where he was roommates with Ed Reed at the University of Miami, and then went on to play forever in the NFL, won a Super Bowl with Peyton Manning, and he's excited. We called Reggie to tell him he was actually playing golf with Ed Reed, so they were right next to each other, and of course Ed's going to come back for the ceremony this year. So excited to have Reggie Wayne, and of course Reggie and Brandon were teammates for a while in Indianapolis, so a lot of great connections there. Guy by the name of Paul Candies, if you followed motorsports, drag racing, NHRA, anything like that, he's already been in the International Drag Racing Hall of Fame. Candies and Hughes was probably one of the greatest names in drag racing for 30, 40 years. He set numerous national and world records in that sport. He was kind of the Jim Finks, if you will. He was the general manager, the guy behind the scenes that put the teams together, and many of those folks are still active in drag racing all across the country. Paul Candies unfortunately passed away in 2013, but he's going to be going into the Hall of Fame. Oh, by the way, he was a chairman for a long time and helped put together the Tarpon Rodeo, the biggest fishing rodeo in the country. So Candies kind of going in on a different thing. Again, it's that diversity of the class: football, tennis, we've got drag racing, coaching. Jack Haynes got inducted. He won the Bassmaster Classic in 1975, the first person from the state of Louisiana to win the Super Bowl of fishing. There's over 20 years of professional bass fisherman, finished in 35 times, finished in the top 20 in international bass fishing competitions. He's one of the greatest fishermen in his sport from Louisiana. And finally, a guy that is getting inducted, and a guy that I know John Brady knows a little something about, Larry Wright from Grambling, great basketball player. He was a parade All-American, Larry Wright was, from the Monroe area out of high school. Went to Grambling, played there, played 6 years in the NBA, won a world championship with the Bullets, Washington Bullets, played overseas, was the European Player of the Year 1 year over in Europe, came back, coached at Grambling, coached in the NBA, and as a scout and whatnot. So a long time, great guy from North Louisiana, Larry Wright, is going to be inducted into the Hall of Fame. So a very diverse class, and it's good. The last weekend in June is when we're going to have the ceremony up in Natchitoches. A lot of great events going on. For more information, you can go to lasportshall.com. We hope you'll be there. Plus, we'll have events throughout the state and throughout the year. We'll be back next month to honor Jim Henderson at a later date here at the Quarterback Club, and we appreciate you. Thanks for your time.